I want to teach you some everyday words and phrases to help you build your vocabulary, but in a very practical way, because this is vocabulary that we use quite often. And I'm talking about the verbs make, do, and have. So I'm going to teach you the meaning of these phrases, talk about how they're used in context, as well as give you a variety of examples. So let's make the most of it and keep building your vocabulary. And we'll begin with the phrase that I just mentioned, to make the most of. This means to take full advantage of something because it's not going to last long. So generally this refers to some sort of opportunity. Maybe it's a beautiful day outside and I say, well, you should make the most of it. Or perhaps you're in New York City for only a couple of days and you want to make the most of it. You want to build your vocabulary, so you're watching this video. You should make the most of it. Hit the like button, write to me in the comments. It's not going to last forever.
We'll show your people how to use this land properly, how to make the most of it.
On a ticking clock. Make the most of it.
Well, we have a few minutes right now. Let's make the most of it.
Then there's make do with. This means to use what is available, although it's really not enough or even what you wanted. So there are many situations that you can use this phrase. Maybe you need a knife, but only a fork is available, and you say, yes, I'll make do with the fork. Or perhaps you're trying to go somewhere, and you can get there faster by car, but a bike is the only thing that's available, and you say, I'll make do with it. Here are some news headlines so you can get a better idea as to how this phrase is used in context. We need 2 pools in this town. Orangeville residents make do with Tony Rose pool closure. The gender pension gap. Even after work ends, women must make do with less. As Louisiana schools seek to prevent school shootings, some make do with limited resources. Let's have a look at some more examples.
I'll just make do with no assistance.
No, don't just give up. Maybe you haven't found the right person yet.
They're not going to go back to the way they were. You make do with what's left.
Can't find any baking soda. We're going to have to make do with Colgate.
Then we have to make amends. This means to do something to show that you're sorry for your bad behavior in the past. So in this case, it is a little similar to make up. Let's make amends. The difference is that when you're going to use make amends, it really means that you are actually doing or offering something to show that you're sorry. So if my wife is upset with me, I may buy her some flowers in order to make amends. I thought this was a fun little saying, make amends real quick. Karma does not joke around. And yes, I do think it's always better to make amends, even though it doesn't always happen.
I've been making amends.
You weren't amending, you were avenging.
Step 9 of Narcotics Anonymous. I'm here to make amends.
So I've been going through the 12 steps.
What are you up to now? Step 9?
Yeah, making amends.
I seek to make amends, to pay for what I've done.
Make a point of. This is used to emphasize something or highlight a situation. So one thing I want you to keep in mind is that you're often going to follow this phrase with a gerund. I could say, I make a point of calling my parents once a week. And I just maybe want to highlight that. Or to give you a business example, maybe I could say, we need to make a point of offering our employees professional development opportunities. And you just want to emphasize that this is important.
You know, I make a point of never interfering in your personal affairs.
The folk who thrive around here make a point of easing their neighbor's burden.
Seems somewhat familiar. Have I threatened you before?
I make a point of avoiding familiarity with pirates.
Then we have the phrase make peace with, and you can make peace with someone or make peace with something. And they really have 2 different meanings. So when you make peace with someone, it means that you need to stop fighting or disagreeing with someone and start working and living happily together. So let's say that 2 people are fighting or arguing, and I say, you need to make peace with each other.
Reach out and take it. Make peace with the Lannisters.
Make peace with your sister. And then make peace with yourself.
Now, when you make peace with something, that means that you start to accept something that was worrying or annoying you. And I could say, well, I made peace with the fact that I would never become a professional basketball player, even though that's what I wanted when I was younger, but I made peace with that a long time ago.
It's not going to change. Just make peace with it.
You know, I've had to make peace with the fact that probably never going to get genuine accountability.
Let's continue with more phrases, but this time I want to teach you some useful phrases with the verb do. And we will start with the phrase do a number on. This means to harm someone or something, and it really does have a negative connotation. Perhaps I say that, well, I went in for a cleaning, but the dentist did a number on my teeth. And in that case, I'm referring to physical harm. But you could also use this when referring to any type of harm, like psychological harm. Perhaps I say, after getting out of the relationship, she did not trust anyone. Her ex really did a number on her. Here are some more examples.
Boy, did your mother do a number on you.
I haven't worn a bathing suit in public, like, ever.
Krista really did a number on you, huh?
This is more than just a one-night stand. This lady's gonna do a number on you, mate. I appreciate the concern.
Next is the phrase to do one's part. And this means to do what one is responsible for doing or is able to do. So when I was younger, I was supposed to help clean around the home, and sometimes my parents didn't think that I was doing that, and they would tell me, "You're not doing your part." When it comes to protecting the environment, I like to think that I'm trying to do my part, and that's also why I thought this was a funny little joke. I'm doing my part to conserve water by drinking wine instead.
Trust me, we literally have no extra money. So do your part. Sign your time card.
He will not know. Just do your part.
As you wish.
9 million socially conscious and unified citizens all just stepping up and doing their part.
To do your own thing. I really like this phrase because it means that you're going to do what you want without worrying what anyone else thinks of you. So I think it has a positive connotation, and I would encourage you to do your own thing. Don't worry what others think. I know I am going to do my own thing, and I'm going to continue doing my own thing, so you should also do your own thing. And I'm just going to keep saying that phrase, do your own thing.
I'm not in Hootie and the Blowfish anymore, y'all. Doing my own thing.
Just do your own thing. Get your own life. Yeah, I mean, do your own thing. Comfortable with yourself.
No, thank you. I'm doing my own thing this year.
Then we have the phrase, do your best. This is a great phrase because it's so common, and it just means to make the greatest effort that you possibly can. And you would often use this to encourage someone. I could say, I want you to study hard and do your best on the exam. Or even though the team lost, everyone did their best.
Do your best. That's all anybody can ask for.
I can do it.
Just do your best. Now go do your best. It's not too late for you to become a person of substance, Russell. Please get my son home safely.
So we just talked about do your best. Now I want to talk about do your worst. You would think that these phrases are exact opposites because of best and worst, but not really. If you tell someone do your worst, it just means to do the most unpleasant or harmful thing that you can. So we're not talking about effort, like in do your best. We're talking about harm. So you may often use this when there's some sort of confrontation or competition. Perhaps someone is telling you that they're going to destroy your reputation, and you say, I'm not afraid of you, do your worst. And you're really challenging someone. Do your worst.
All right, Monday. Do your worst.
I've lost track of the number of times I've been killed, so go ahead. Do your worst.
So if you need to do your worst, do your worst. You've got the address of the hotel. I'll be here waiting.
I am going to do my part and continue teaching you some useful phrases, but this time with the verb have. And the first phrase that I want to teach you is to have a one-track mind. This means to think about one particular thing and nothing else. Now, sometimes you may hear people use this phrase as more of a sexual innuendo, suggesting that a guy has a one-track mind and is only thinking about sex. But that's not always the case, and to give you some more context, here are some news headlines. You have a one-track mind, which is why multitasking is sabotaging your productivity. Christophe Lemaitre, and maybe I'm mispronouncing the name, this person is a French sprinter, and they say, at the start lineup, you have a one-track mind. And finally, you don't have to have a one-track mind to study law. Now let's look at some video examples using this phrase.
Oh, and then games?
You know something? You have a one-track mind.
I don't care just so long as it takes me where I want to go.
I have a one-track mind, don't I? My one-track mind is telling me that I'm hungry.
No.
Why not?
Because my ex-girlfriend's getting married.
Jesus, you got a one-track mind. It's always Caitlin, Caitlin, Caitlin.
Next is have an in with. This means to establish a connection with someone in a position of authority. And often I think this phrase is kind of related to networking. Maybe you try to meet someone, especially someone in a position of authority. You try to establish a connection so that perhaps in the future you have an in with this person. And it doesn't have to be someone with immense power. It could just be a regular person who, perhaps because of their job, they have power in specific situations. I could say, I'll be able to get us into the concert because I have an in with the security guard. He's an old friend from high school. Here are some more examples.
Maybe have an in with a big client that we could get our foot in the door.
I have an in with the manager. I delivered his baby.
And even better, I have an in with the owner. Oh yeah, we work together.
Then there's the phrase to have mixed feelings. This is another common phrase, and it's used to say that you feel pleased and not pleased at the same time. Perhaps I ask you, what do you think about the new employee policy? And you say, I have mixed feelings about it. I thought this was a fun example because there's a popular slogan, I love New York. You see it on t-shirts with a heart, but I think maybe this t-shirt is a little more accurate. I have mixed feelings about New York. Let's have a look at some more examples.
I have mixed feelings about being a parent.
I have mixed feelings about doing interviews.
I have mixed feelings, honestly.
About Christmas? How's that possible?
Share the same blood, the same mixed feelings towards Bart.
To have a presence of mind, and really you would have a presence of mind to do something. This refers to the ability to make good decisions and react quickly and calmly in a difficult situation or an emergency. It's another way of saying that you were able to think quickly and make a good decision. When the fire started, she had the presence of mind to grab the fire extinguisher. Now, I always like to inspire you, so here are some inspirational quotes using this phrase. Presence of mind in all things I counsel. Be aware of thyself before all else. It's very deep. Most important was to remain focused and always have a presence of mind. I hope that you have the presence of mind to write to me in the comments. It's not necessarily an emergency, but a good decision.
At least have the presence of mind to act civilized.
Usually when someone has the presence of mind to ask themselves if they're going crazy, it suggests they're not.
If I had lost my temper, would I have had the presence of mind to leave my card and my insurance information?
Then there's to have your hands tied. This is used to say that someone is unable to act freely because something, like a law or rule, prevents it. Let's say that you would like my help and I would like to help you, but for some reason I can't. I might say, sorry, my hands are tied. Here are some more news headlines so you can get a better feel as to how this phrase is used in context. Fast food is targeting youths, but local leaders have their hands tied. Border Patrol agents have their hands tied. Priest flees country with teen Valentine, but police may have their hands tied. Let's have a look at some video examples.
Totally disregard that last voicemail because you obviously have your hands tied. Good luck.
Since his death, my hands have been tied. But I believe the universe has given us a gift.
You can't reward her for that.
My hands are tied.
I hope that you enjoyed the lesson and learned something new, and if you did, please hit that like button. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. So long.